There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when life feels like it's tightening around you, not because you've done something wrong, but because something hidden is being revealed. Lately, you may have felt an unusual pressure, a strange heaviness in your spirit, a sense that someone is watching, investigating, or digging into things connected to your past. This isn't paranoia. This is spiritual intuition. Chosen ones carry a different kind of light, and sometimes that light exposes darkness unintentionally. If your heart has been unsettled, trust yourself. Revelation is trying to reach you. Most people don't understand this. The more anointed you become, the more the enemy tries to pull your name into battles that are not yours. Sometimes those battles take unexpected forms, rumors, accusations, old connections resurfacing, or even legal friction. Many chosen ones don't realize that spiritual warfare can manifest in the physical realm, through people who suddenly become obsessed with your life. Have you noticed how certain individuals keep revisiting your name, your past, your decisions? Have you felt the sudden urge to protect your peace, stay low, or stay hidden? That's discernment, not fear. A lawyer being after you doesn't always mean a courtroom or a case. Sometimes it means someone is trying to build a narrative about you, collect information, or justify their bitterness by painting you as the villain in their story. Sometimes it means someone is intimidated by your growth, your progress, or your divine alignment, and they're searching for a reason to stop it. A chosen one's rise exposes the insecurities of those who were silently competing with them. And competition turns into envy. Envy turns into investigation. Investigation turns into obsession. You've probably experienced a sudden shift where someone who once acted indifferent is now overly curious, or someone who once ignored you is now monitoring you. This is not coincidence. God is exposing heart intentions. When people can't access you directly, they start asking others. When they can't ask others, they watch silently from a distance. And when watching isn't enough, they create stories to justify their interest. This is why it feels like your name is being discussed in rooms you've never entered, because it is. Before we go deeper, take a moment and breathe. You are not in danger. You are not being hunted. You are being prepared. Your spirit picked up on something long before your mind did. And that's why you're here listening to this message on Mirror of the Soul. If this resonates already, like this video, subscribe and comment. My spirit knew it before my eyes did. What is your intuition telling you lately? Share it below. Your comment might confirm someone else's situation. There are two gifts inside you that many people can sense long before you even recognize them. These gifts are spiritual, powerful, and deeply threatening to insecure souls. The first gift is your discernment, the ability to sense truth without being told. People feel exposed around you, even when you say nothing. You see through pretenders, hidden agendas, and unspoken intentions. Those who operate in manipulation or deceit can't stand being in the presence of someone who effortlessly sees their real character. This makes them uncomfortable, and that discomfort often leads them to push back, question you, or try to challenge what they don't understand. The second gift is your destiny influence, an inner knowing that you were born for something greater. This gift radiates from you even when you're silent. Wherever you go, people can feel the weight of your calling. Some are inspired by it, but others feel intimidated, jealous, or threatened. These two gifts combined create a spiritual aura that draws attention, both the good kind and the bad. The presence of these gifts is why some people simply cannot leave you alone, even when they pretend to. They feel your significance, they feel your power, they feel the shift you create just by being present. Have you noticed how people sometimes respond to you with unnecessary aggression, suspicion, or interest? It's not because you did anything wrong. It's because your gifts reveal their insecurities. They don't want to admit that your spirit is stronger, your purpose is larger, and your journey is divinely orchestrated. People who have unresolved wounds often interpret your light as a threat. They try to figure you out, measure your ability, or box you into their limited perception. But chosen ones cannot be boxed. Your gifts break limitations naturally. Chosen ones rarely understand the effect their presence has on people. You walk into a room and the atmosphere shifts. Conversations change. People's masks begin to crack, all because your energy carries truth, purity, and spiritual clarity. This presence unsettles those living in confusion or deceit. Some people feel strangely drawn to you, others feel strangely defensive. And a few become obsessively curious, wanting to know everything about you, your past, your connections, your finances, your purpose. They can't explain it, but they feel compelled to analyze your life. This kind of energy draws investigators, not always the legal kind, but the emotional and psychological ones. People start asking questions about you behind your back. They start watching your social media, paying attention to what you say, what you post, who you talk to. Some start digging into old memories, old mistakes, old friendships. They want to understand how someone like you became who you are. They want to figure out your strength, your resilience, your spiritual authority. But in their search, they only discover what God has always told you. You are set apart. There's another reason people investigate you. Your peace irritates their chaos. Your silence confuses their ego. Your success challenges their stagnation. And your spiritual insight reveals truths they aren't ready to face. So instead of dealing with their own inner shadows, they turn their curiosity toward you. This is why you felt watched lately. This is why you felt observed, even in your quietest moments. The investigation isn't about guilt, it's about revelation. When a lawyer or someone with legal knowledge starts observing a chosen one, it carries deep spiritual meaning. It symbolizes that your life is entering a season of evaluation, truth, and exposure. Not exposure to shame, but exposure to destiny. Lawyers represent justice, structure, accountability, and truth. When this symbol appears in your spiritual narrative, it means God is uncovering something that has been hidden from you. It might be a hidden blessing, a hidden enemy, or a hidden truth you were meant to discover. Sometimes God allows certain people to examine your life because He is preparing to vindicate you. There may have been misunderstandings, false assumptions, or narratives spoken about you in the past, and now divine justice is stepping in. God uses unexpected vessels, sometimes even lawyers, to bring clarity to situations you didn't know needed resolution. Not every investigation is an attack. Sometimes it is the prelude to your elevation. In other cases, the presence of a lawyer energy symbolizes contracts, agreements, or destiny partnerships forming around you. God may be preparing to align you with people who will open doors, protect your interests, or help you build something bigger than you imagined. The spiritual realm always speaks symbolically before it manifests physically. Pay close attention to patterns. Pay attention to dreams. Pay attention to repeated signs or names. Something is being prepared for you behind the scenes. There's also spiritual warfare involved. When the enemy cannot attack you directly, he tries to bring confusion to your name. He tries to stir misunderstandings, misinterpretations, or unnecessary attention from people who hold authority. But chosen ones are always protected. What was meant to harm you becomes the very thing that proves your innocence, your purity, or your divine calling. God turns investigations into testimonies. He turns scrutiny into heavenly spotlight. Nothing in your life happens without divine permission. Not the storms, not the setbacks, not the strange attention, and definitely not the sudden curiosity from unexpected people. When God allows someone to examine your life, it means He is orchestrating something far beyond your understanding. Sometimes, He exposes you to observers so they can witness your growth. Other times, He allows your name to circulate so your testimony can travel farther than your physical presence ever could. Sometimes examination comes to bring hidden truth to light. There may be conversations about you that you're unaware of, some positive, some not. But God uses them all. He lets your character speak louder than rumors. He lets your actions outweigh assumptions. He lets your spiritual consistency silence false narratives. Those who examine you often walk away shocked, realizing you are not who they thought you were, but someone far more aligned, awakened, and spiritually powerful. There's also a protective reason. God allows certain people to look into your life because He is shielding you from bigger enemies. Exposing you to minor observers prevents major attacks. Think of it like divine decoy protection. While someone is busy watching you, God is handling something dangerous behind the scenes that you cannot see. Chosen ones rarely understand how many battles God fights silently on their behalf. Another reason is preparation. Before God elevates you, He tests how people respond to your light. He allows you to become visible to those who once overlooked you. He lets your anointing be seen by people who once doubted you. The investigation is not about finding fault, it's about revealing your worth. You are being evaluated because you are being positioned for something greater. Before we continue, answer this in the comments. Do you feel God is preparing you for exposure, elevation, or protection? Your response might help someone else interpret their season. Like and subscribe to Mirror of the Soul so you never miss messages that speak directly to your journey. Many chosen ones don't realize that when they enter a new season of elevation, they draw unseen attention from people who feel spiritually unsettled by their transformation. You may think you're simply living your life, but others see a story unfolding, a rise they cannot ignore. They watch because they sense something shifting in you. Your glow is different. Your decisions are different. Your silence is different. Even your mistakes are different because they lead to breakthroughs instead of breakdowns. People observe chosen ones because their lives do not follow normal patterns. Sometimes the observation is innocent curiosity, but often it is fueled by confusion. Why is this person protected? Why do they keep rising no matter what? Why do doors open for them that stay closed for others? People can sense divine favor long before it becomes visible physically. When they see you stepping into alignment, they want to understand the source of your strength. They study your moves, hopping to imitate what they cannot spiritually duplicate. But then there's another group, those who observe you because they feel threatened. Your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your confidence highlights their insecurity. Your resilience exposes their weakness. They watch you hopping to find a flaw, a fault, a misstep they can use to comfort their own ego. And when they cannot find anything, they become frustrated. That frustration often turns into speculation, and speculation turns into subtle investigation. But don't be moved. God sees their hearts, and He protects your name. Here, what you need to understand. God allowed this observation, not to harm you, but to reveal people's true intentions. He uses seasons of visibility to expose hidden jealousy, hidden envy, and hidden agendas. Some people who smile at you would betray you in a second if they thought it would benefit them. Some who act indifferent are actually competing with you silently. Seasons like this expose their real character, not yours. Every chosen one reaches a point in their journey where spiritual growth ignites battles they never asked for. You've probably noticed that the more you heal, the more you awaken, and the more you align with your purpose, the more certain people start acting strange. They become distant, then curious, then defensive, then obsessed, all because your spiritual elevation has revealed who they truly are. Growth is a mirror. It reflects truth back to people who aren't ready to face it. Your spiritual expansion triggers insecurities in people who remain spiritually stagnant. When you began setting boundaries, some people felt offended. When you began prioritizing your peace, some felt rejected. When you started walking in confidence, some felt threatened. They didn't realize that your transformation wasn't about them. It was about survival, healing, and destiny. But ego interprets growth as an attack, and insecure hearts often react with suspicion, jealousy, or quiet investigation. That's when the silent battles begin. People start asking questions about you. They talk about your changes behind your back. They try to figure out why you're glowing differently. Some even feel the need to check your past, your relationships, or your decisions as if your evolution requires their approval. These battles are not physical, they are spiritual. They're triggered by the unseen realm reacting to the divine shift inside you. This is why, in this season, you may sense tension in the atmosphere even when no one is arguing with you. You may feel resistance from people who used to support you. You may notice that some individuals have become strangely interested in your life. This isn't coincidence. It's spiritual warfare manifesting through human behavior. The enemy fears who you are becoming, so he stirs confusion in the hearts of those around you. Your name has been appearing in conversations you weren't invited to, but here's the truth: God allowed it. Chosen ones often become the topic of discussion in hidden places, not because they're doing wrong, but because they're doing right. Your progress is being noticed. Your strength is being questioned. Your resilience is being analyzed. People are talking because your story is shifting. You're no longer who you used to be, and some people can't keep up with the version of you that God is revealing. Your name is traveling through rooms you have never stepped into, rooms where your presence alone would change the atmosphere. Some people are speaking well of you. They admire your growth. They respect your discipline. They acknowledge your transformation. They speak about you because they see potential. But others speak your name from a place of envy, confusion, or insecurity. They wonder how you survived what was meant to destroy you. They wonder how you're winning battles you never mention. They wonder how you remain calm when life throws storms at you. And then there are those who speak your name as part of subtle investigations. They want to know your plans, your path, your destiny. They gather information because they feel you're becoming something they cannot control. These conversations often include people who shouldn't be discussing you at all: acquaintances, distant connections, old faces from the past, and even strangers. The more your spirit elevates, the more your name circulates. One of the enemy's favorite tactics is confusion. He knows he cannot stop a chosen one, but he can try to distract them. He uses confusion to make you doubt your intuition, question your protection, or fear situations that have no real threat. This is why you sometimes feel overwhelmed for no reason. This is why you feel watched, judged, or misunderstood even when there's no evidence. The enemy plants emotional illusions, hoping you'll sabotage yourself. Confusion makes you feel unsafe in safe environments. It makes you overthink what God has already handled. It makes you misinterpret curiosity as danger. It makes you feel like something is wrong when everything is actually aligning. When confusion enters your life, it doesn't come alone. Fear follows it, and anxiety sits beside it. The goal is to make you question your divine protection, to weaken your faith, and to distort your perception. But here's the truth: confusion is a sign of breakthrough. When the enemy notices your elevation, he tries to shake your clarity. He wants you to lose sight of how powerful, protected, and chosen you are. He wants you to believe that people observing you is a threat, rather than a sign of your spiritual influence. The enemy wants you to fear the attention that God is using to elevate you. Many chosen ones experience this strange fear when they sense someone investigating or monitoring them. It's not real danger, it's spiritual interference. The enemy wants you to panic, retreat, or isolate yourself. But this is exactly when you must stay grounded, stay connected to God, and stay aligned with your purpose. Fear is the enemy's illusion. Discernment is God's truth. A chosen one's life is never random. Everything you go through has purpose woven into it. Even the strange season of investigation, observation, or silent scrutiny has meaning. God is not punishing you. He is positioning you. He is putting you in a place where your character will shine, your name will be cleared, your gifts will be recognized, and your destiny will unfold in ways you never imagined. Sometimes God allows your life to be examined so that your elevation will be undeniable. People need to witness your integrity. They need to see your growth. They need to recognize your transformation. Elevation requires visibility, and visibility often comes through unexpected eyes. God is positioning you so that when He opens the next door for you, no one will question whether you earned it. They will know it. This season is preparing you for blessings you aren't even fully aware of yet. God is aligning resources, opportunities, and divine connections. He is orchestrating events so that everything falls into place perfectly. What feels uncomfortable now is simply the stretching before the blessing. You're being positioned for something bigger, more impactful, and more spiritually significant. God is also removing the wrong people by exposing their intentions. Anyone who speaks your name negatively will remove themselves from your life. Anyone who doubts you will silently step back. Anyone who envies you will distance themselves. God is clearing your path by revealing hearts. This season of observation is a divine filter. There comes a moment in every chosen one's life when the past begins to resurface, not to haunt you, but to reveal who still feels entitled to your story. You may have noticed people suddenly trying to remember things about you, asking odd questions, or bringing up old events as if they happened yesterday. This isn't nostalgia. This is curiosity mixed with insecurity. Some individuals feel threatened by your growth, so they reach for your past hopping to understand your present. They want access to a version of you that no longer exists. The truth is, your past is a treasure map to people who can't understand your transformation. They think if they can retrace your steps, they can figure out your strength. If they can analyze your mistakes, they can justify their jealousy. If they can dig through your history, maybe they can make sense of why God favors you. But what they fail to see is that your past didn't break you, it built you. Those old moments weren't prisons, they were preparation. When people try to bring up your past, it's a sign your future is threatening them. They want to pull you backwards because they can feel that God is pulling you forward. They try to reopen old chapters because they're intimidated by the new one God is writing. But here's the divine truth. No one can use your past against you when God has already redeemed it. What was once your weakness has become your weapon. This is why some people act like investigators. They study your history trying to find the real you, not realizing that the real you is who you've become, not who you were. God has rewritten your identity. Your scars have turned into wisdom. Your pain has turned into purpose. And your past has turned into a testimony that others can't twist to their advantage. Jealousy is a silent poison. You don't always hear it, but you feel it. When God begins to elevate you, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, or financially, those who once felt equal to you suddenly feel inferior. They don't know how to handle the new version of you because it forces them to confront the version of themselves they have ignored. Jealousy erupts not because you did something wrong, but because you did something different. You evolved. You've probably noticed the subtle signs. People who once supported you no longer clap for you. Their tone shifts, their attention shifts, their energy becomes tense. They begin to ask questions that sound innocent but carry hidden envy. How did you do that? Why you? When did this happen? The truth is, your elevation activates their insecurity. And insecurity, when unhealed, manifests as jealousy. Some individuals aren't jealous of what you have, they're jealous of who you are. They envy your resilience, your growth, your courage, your peace, your alignment with God. They don't understand how you can go through so much and still stand strong. They don't know how you survive storms that would have swallowed them whole. They see your strength and feel weak. They see your glow and feel dim. They see your calling and feel lost. This jealousy often leads to people scrutinizing your life. They want to find flaws so they can comfort their own wounded ego. That's why they watch you. That's why they talk about you. That's why they keep your name in their mouth. Jealousy makes people search for reasons to justify why you are blessed and they are not. But jealousy cannot stop a chosen one. God is the one who lifts you up, not them. There is a spiritual courtroom that many chosen ones never realize exists. In this unseen realm, forces of light and darkness contend over your destiny. Every elevation you step into requires spiritual authorization. Every blessing must pass through heavenly validation. This is why your life feels like a case is being formed, a gathering of evidence, a weighing of intentions, a reviewing of your journey. Heaven is preparing to rule in your favor. When people suddenly start paying attention to you, it reflects what's happening spiritually. The enemy is trying to find grounds to attack your purpose, but God is presenting evidence of your growth, your integrity, your endurance. The trials you've survived have become testimonies. The pain you've endured has become proof. The decisions you've made have become documentation of your character. Heaven is building a divine case that confirms you are ready for what's coming next. This spiritual case is why certain people are drawn to you mysteriously. They feel something shifting around you. They sense that God is preparing to unlock a new chapter in your life. Some become curious because your destiny radiates from you. Others become threatened because they sense that your life is about to take off in ways they can't explain. People's reactions mirror spiritual activity. The enemy tries to delay your rising by sending confusion, fear, or unnecessary attention your way. He wants to make you doubt your worth. He wants to make you question your journey. He wants you to believe that being watched is a threat. But in truth, it is a sign that heaven is highlighting you. God is preparing to bring something into your life that requires public validation, and what God approves, no one can deny. Sometimes God protects you so quietly that you don't realize you're protected. You move through life thinking you're surviving on instinct, intelligence, or luck, but it's divine covering that keeps you safe. There are conversations you were not allowed to hear, meetings you were not invited to, and paths you were not shown because God knew they would harm you. His protection is often invisible, but it is powerful. There are people who wanted to harm your reputation, but God sealed their mouths. There are people who attempted to drag your name into drama, but God blocked their plans. There are people who tried to gather information about you, but every door they knocked on remained closed. You didn't see these battles, but God fought them. You didn't hear the accusations, but He silenced them. You don't realize how much danger God has kept you from. The presence of someone observing you, even investigating you, is not a sign of danger but a sign of divine shielding. God allows minor distractions to keep major threats away. He may let someone watch you from a distance, but He will never allow them to touch what is His. You are spiritually marked as protected. Heaven recognizes you. The enemy recognizes you. And anyone who attempts to interfere with your purpose will face consequences they are not prepared for. Protection also means spiritual insulation. That anxiety you felt was not fear, it was discernment. That heaviness you sensed was not danger, it was God warning you to stay still. That intuition that told you to distance yourself from certain people was divine guidance. You have been protected every step of the way, even when you didn't realize God was guiding your footsteps. Every chosen one eventually reaches a moment where God removes the veil and reveals who the real enemy is. This revelation often comes during seasons of observation, scrutiny, or unexpected attention. You begin to see people's true intentions, not through their words, but through their actions. Those who pretended to support you become distant. Those who acted indifferent become overly curious. Those who once stood beside you begin to show signs of envy, competition, or resentment. God exposes enemies not to shame them but to protect you. He reveals their hearts so you know who to distance yourself from. He uncovers their motives so you don't walk blindly into harm. Exposure is a gift, even when it feels painful. It's God's way of saying, this person can no longer go with you where I am taking you. Elevation requires separation, and separation requires revelation. Some people are enemies without even realizing it. Their jealousy blinds them. Their insecurity drives their actions. Their brokenness twists their intentions. They don't hate you. They hate what your growth represents. They hate the version of themselves that you make them confront. They hate that your life is proof that healing and elevation are possible. But here's the divine truth. God always exposes the enemy before He blesses the chosen one. Always. This exposure is your sign that something big is coming. A season of abundance, clarity, growth, and divine positioning is on the horizon. God is revealing hearts so He can reveal blessings next. This is spiritual order. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey where heaven steps into the situation and flips the entire narrative in a single breath. The one who thought they were watching you, studying you, or gathering information about you suddenly becomes the one under divine examination. God has a way of letting people dig holes so deep that they end up trapped in their own intentions. The more they tried to investigate you, the more God allowed their own motives, insecurities, and hidden darkness to rise to the surface. They thought they were exposing you, but God was using them to expose themselves. You might have felt this shift recently. Someone who once seemed confident suddenly started hesitating. Someone who acted bold in their accusations suddenly became quiet. Someone who tried to corner you with questions now avoids you, avoids conversations, avoids eye contact. That's not coincidence, that's conviction. When God exposes someone, It doesn't happen in the ways people expect. It happens through their slipping integrity, their unraveling lies, their uncontrollable anxiety. Their own behavior gives them away, long before anyone says a word. Chosen ones don't fight their battles the way the world does. You don't need to confront, argue, or defend yourself aggressively. Your silence, your growth, your character, and your alignment do the fighting for you. God shows people who they really are in contrast to who you are becoming. The light in you irritates the shadows in them until they can no longer hide. Their intentions become transparent. Their schemes become predictable. Their fear becomes visible. And the moment they realize they cannot spiritually overpower you, they collapse internally. This is why the one investigating you is now being spiritually investigated by heaven. God is questioning their motives. God is confronting their heart. God is stripping them of the false sense of authority they thought they had over your life. The same eyes they used to watch you are now watched by angels. The same mouth they used to gossip about you is now silenced by conviction. They're no longer the investigator, they're the exposed one. And deep down, they know it. There are two spiritual gifts inside you that people sense long before you even understand them. The first gift is discernment, the ability to see beyond what others show, to read intentions without evidence, to feel danger before it appears. This gift alone intimidates people because it makes their manipulations ineffective. People can't lie to you comfortably because your spirit reacts before your mind does. They feel naked around you, exposed without you saying a word. This alone makes them suspicious of you, jealous of you, and sometimes obsessed with trying to discredit you. The second gift is favor, a supernatural flow of blessings, opportunities, protection, and breakthroughs that follow you regardless of who tries to sabotage you. Favor cannot be explained, predicted, or controlled. It makes people wonder why doors open for you but not for them, why you rise so quickly, why your life transforms even when you've been through storms that should have destroyed you. Favor feels unfair to those who refuse to align with God. This jealousy turns into obsession. Obsession turns into investigation, and investigation turns into unnecessary conflict. Together, discernment and favor create a spiritual glow that people cannot ignore. It makes them watch you, talk about you, seek details about you, and sometimes try to catch you slipping, not because you are guilty, but because they cannot understand why God chose you when life looks at them and sees nothing remarkable. Their ego needs you to fail so they can feel better about their own stagnation. So when they see these two gifts operating in your life, they react like someone threatened by a truth they cannot control. You carry a divine intelligence that makes people feel intimidated. You see things before they happen, sense danger before it manifests, and recognize deception instantly. Combined with favor, the blessings that cannot be blocked, you become what the Bible calls a sign and a wonder. And people always study what they do not understand. This is why someone, somewhere, started playing investigator with your life. Not because you did wrong, but because your spiritual DNA threatens their illusions. Obsessed people don't always attack openly. Sometimes they take a more strategic, subtle route, trying to gather evidence against you, trying to twist your words, trying to use your past, your mistakes, or your vulnerability as a weapon. This doesn't always manifest in a physical courtroom. Most times it happens as spiritual legal warfare, where someone tries to build a case against your name in the spiritual realm. They speak against you. They spread narratives. They plant seeds of doubt. They try to justify their jealousy by painting you as the problem. When someone behaves like a lawyer against you, they are trying to create a spiritual verdict that aligns with their bitterness. They want people to see you through their distorted lens. They want to feel righteous in their envy. They want to feel justified in their disrespect. So they gather information not for truth but for ammunition. They investigate not for clarity but for control. They talk not for understanding but for influence. This is spiritual warfare disguised as human behavior. But here is the truth they never expected. No weapon formed against a chosen one ever prospers because the evidence they gather is irrelevant in heaven. God does not judge you based on your past mistakes, your failures, or your scars. God judges the heart. God judges motives. God judges character, and the person attacking you has intentions rooted in jealousy, insecurity, and fear, not righteousness. Their case collapses in the spiritual realm long before it manifests in the physical. This is why their attacks never fully succeed, why rumors die quickly, why their manipulation doesn't land, why their attempts to discredit you crumble. God blocks every accusation before it leaves their lips. Their spiritual case file against you is empty because God dismissed it before they even started. They don't realize they're fighting someone who is protected by covenant, not by reputation. And covenant always wins. Chosen ones often misunderstand spiritual pressure. You think something is going wrong, when in reality, something is being aligned. God allows certain attacks not to break you, but to promote you. Pressure is a sign that heaven is pushing you into a higher version of yourself. Every time someone tries to investigate, accuse, belittle, or misrepresent you, God uses it as a platform to elevate your character, sharpen your discernment, and refine your divine authority. Attack always precedes elevation. Every chosen one in Scripture, Joseph, David, Daniel, Esther, Moses, faced an attack that looked unfair but was actually a setup for promotion. People studied them, accused them, plotted against them, and tried to stop their destiny. What they didn't know was that by targeting a chosen one, they were positioning that chosen one for divine favor. Your situation is no different. The lawyer-like figure, investigating, you doesn't realize they're preparing the stage for your breakthrough. Sometimes God allows someone to study you so that when he blesses you publicly, that same person becomes a witness to your transformation. God doesn't want anonymous blessings. He wants blessings that silence every hater, every critic, every false investigator. Your elevation will be so undeniable that even your enemies will say, "Only God could have done that." The pressure is the final confirmation that the blessing is near. Opposition always intensifies right before breakthrough. You may have felt overwhelmed, misunderstood, or targeted. You may have wondered why God allowed this. But now you see the truth. God allowed it because the attack revealed your strength and their weakness, because the attack woke up your gifts, because the attack exposed the ones who never wished you well, because the attack positioned you to receive something far greater than what you lost. This was not punishment, it was preparation. Every spiritual battle ends with a divine verdict, and when God judges a case, the outcome is permanent. In your situation, the verdict has already been declared in heaven. You win, not because you fought harder, but because you stayed aligned, because you stayed silent when necessary, because you didn't retaliate, because your heart remained pure while someone else's heart turned dark. God sees what people think they hide. God weighs every intention, and he has already ruled in your favor. The enemy wanted you to look guilty. God made you look chosen. Someone wanted you to fall. God used the attack to lift you higher. Someone wanted to expose you. God exposed them instead. Someone tried to study your weaknesses. God revealed your strengths. Someone tried to build a case against you. God destroyed it before it even began. This is what happens when you walk with divine favor. Every plan formed against you becomes the very thing that blesses you. The verdict is victory, but the blessing is peace. After this season, you will feel a calm that words cannot explain. You will no longer feel watched, pressured, or spiritually suffocated. God is removing the eyes that were monitoring you, silencing the mouth speaking against you, and dissolving the connections that were draining you. You are stepping into a season of supernatural clarity and protection. Every chain spiritually connected to this attack has been broken. Now comes the restoration. Everything you lost, God is returning. Everything that was delayed, God is releasing. Everything that was blocked, God is opening. The favor on your life is doubling because the attack tried to stop it. God never lets warfare end without compensation. This season will prove why you were targeted and why you were protected. If you receive this verdict over your life, comment, "The victory is mine." And tell us on Mirror of the Soul, what blessing do you believe God is releasing after this battle?